new array adapter, and again, the array adapter object is going to say, okay, so you're trying to convert an array, which we have right here, to list items. So it says, okay, what data is in your array? Well, of course, this is just a string array, and the parameters that go in here are this, and that's just for housekeeping whenever you create a new array adapter. Now, another one is android.r, and I'll explain what this means in just a second. Alright, layout dot, and watch what happens. Whenever I type simple, we get all these weird things that pop up. Simple list item 1, simple list item 2. What the heck does that mean? I'll explain in just a second. And the third parameter is foods. Plural. Alright. So again, we already know that this is the adapter that's going to be responsible for taking an array. That's why it's called array adapter, and converting it into list items. So this is just a keyword for housekeeping whenever you create an object. The next one is, how do you want your list items formatted? Now, of course, by default, it gives you a couple different options. Simple list item means just make it like you would think, the best way I can explain it, if you know just like a HTML list or a list in like Microsoft Word, just a basic text list, use simple list item 1. So again, I know it's kind of a weird name, but eventually whenever we create something like this, we're not even going to be using that because we're going to be writing our own custom ones, but for now, just memorize it. Now the last one is, of course, okay, you're trying to create an array into a list, so where is your array? Well, of course, ours is foods right there. So now we have a list of strings, and now we have something that can convert it into a list. So of course, what we have to do now is get a reference to this list, and you guys already know how to do that. It's a ListView object in, what was the name of this? Bucky's ListView. And just set this equal to typecast it into a list view, and find view by ID r.id dot Bucky's list view. So now we got a reference to this list view. Pretty sweet. And the last line of code we need is this. Take that, no, not that, Bucky's list view, which is on that user interface, and set the adapter. And what you pass in here is, of course, Bucky's adapter. So what do you want to convert to list items? Well, just look at Bucky's adapter, and that'll give you the answers. And it says, okay, it's trying to convert the foods array to list items. So again, in order to get an array of strings to display in a list, what you need is a converter. And this is how you create that right there. So now this is actually good to go. If we just want to go ahead and run this, we can do that. And here we have it, a very basic list. Now, of course, as I said, if you had more than 6 items, like if you had, I don't know, like 100 items or something, then they would go off the screen, but the user can scroll down, kind of like you're scrolling through a news feed or a stream or whatever social network you use. So there it is right now, and as you can see, whenever we click them, absolutely nothing happens. So this is a pretty worthless app. So the next thing you probably want to know how to do is how to make something happen whenever you click one of these list items. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So let me get this out of the way. Alright, so after your last line of code in the onCreate method, go down, and if you go to Bucky's list view, what you can do is you can set on item click listener, and what this is going to do is it's pretty much a listener to see when you click an item in that list. So inside here, this is, you did all this before, new adapter view right here. And instead of that, what we want to do is we want to call a method called onItemClickListener. And inside here we have to just hold Alt Insert because we want to override on item click right here. Alright, so again what this is doing is it's setting up a listener on your list. So now your list is waiting for the user to click something, and whenever they do, it gives you some information about what item they clicked, the position. Most of this stuff is just behind the scenes, but I'll show you guys how to do something like print out the name of one of these list items, and we'll just print it out as a little toast, that little notification. Alright, so I'm just going to store the name in a string called food and set this equal to string. Actually, if I type this out and talk you guys through it from the inside out, it'll probably make a little bit more sense. So value of parent get item at position. Alright, so what this is doing is whenever you tap an item in your list, each of these have a position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, of course. We actually don't even need to worry about that because that position, wherever they tapped, it gets passed along through the variable position, and of course it's an integer. So what we can do is we can just say, okay, get that position, which is some integer, it's really irrelevant to us, and just get the value of it and convert it to a string. So now what that's going to do is it's going to be equal to bacon, ham, tuna, whatever they clicked, and whatever that word is, we're going to store it inside the variable food. So now that food variable is going to be equal to one of these things, and we can just print it out in some kind of toast or something. So if we just go to toast, and of course it's make text, then if you go to main activity dot to this, well, you guys already know how to print out toast messages. Yep, it was named food. How long do we want to print it out for? We'll just print it out, I don't know, long, why not? And after this, in order to show it on the screen, you just show it like that. So again, this is a listener. Whenever they tap, it's going to give us information about the item we tapped. What we are doing is we're just extracting the name or the string value of it, storing it in the variable food, and then showing it as a toast. So let me run it and check it out. We can click meatball, it says meatball. We can click potato and it says potato, the coolest app ever. So of course, if we just learn lists to make basic text lists, it would be a waste of time because we probably could have done this an easier way. Now the real power comes in learning how to create awesome list items that you can make into a stream or a feed, and you can create the next most popular social network in the world. So in the next tutorial, that's what I'm going to show you guys how to do. Create custom list item views. It's going to be awesome, and I'll see you then.